you everybody for being here, and it's a great honor to speak in front of such a distinguished audience, and thank you to Dr. Gregory Loderick Frost and to the whole of Traditional Britain Group for inviting me here and hold this small talk. It will be quite brief since we are at the end of a quite long day. I don't want to impose on you more than necessary. What I want to do is, first of all, give a presentation of who we are, of what we do, what we intend to do, what our mindset is. Then some question time, and after that I will read a message which has been written by our president, Barrister Fabrizio Nucera from Turin, which should be here, but due to a strike which has not affected me but has affected him in his trip, he could not make it here today, and I will go on and read his statement in his stead. So, first of all, we are an association, a cultural association, essentially, which was born in Rome in 2005 by the will of a small group of people, young people, around. I wasn't there at the time. I arrived rather late. I joined 4 years ago, and so at the time I wasn't there still. But there was a determined group, a young group of people all over Italy, and from that time we grew, and now we have around 12 delegations all across Italy and 5 delegations in other countries, South America included. Now, our activity is essentially, our finality are essentially a cultural activity, cultural finality. Because we are absolutely convinced that if there is no culture, if there is no rediscovery of our deepest tradition, of our forgotten figures, of forgotten people, of forgotten even heroes, of forgotten places, of forgotten traditions, without this work of rediscovery, there cannot be any future for both Italy, England, Europe, and ultimately the world. History, we think it's absolutely fundamental to understanding our modern world and to do politics. This is why we have no intention, at least for the time being and in the future, to be a political party. This is not what we want to do. It is not what we are strong in our. It's not what our strongest point. That's not it. Because there are many bigger parties. There are many more influential people, persons that simply would overshadow us, and so it's something which is not our turf. But we want to work on a deeper level, on a metapolitical level, so to say, because especially for young people, our culture, our history, our local tradition even are absolutely black screen, totally, completely unknown. This is true for people in school age, but also in university age. This is because I think there is the powers that be, there are people, there is a planned organization that makes young people especially, like this, because having no memories, having no identity, having no local knowledge makes them not independent, makes people robots that can be bossed around basically by everybody, by the first that comes and gives a signal, gives an order, like striking a key on the computer. So what is our aim is to study and deepen the local realities, local history of the various Italies. I'm not saying Italy as a single entity, I'm saying Italies, because we are convinced that in our country there is one state, but then there are many local realities. A person from Turin has not the same mindset and has not the same roots as a person from Sicily or from Venice or from Bari or whatever you want to place him. So we have to make this rediscover of local issues, of local figures, of local persons and of local tradition. For example, I'll bring you this example of our delegation nearby Venice, which was once a part of the Habsburg Empire, is organizing a very important, locally important meeting regarding the figure of the blessed Karl of Habsburg, in particular because that is their strong point, that is what they want to concentrate on. And the same delegate has done, for example, a very good job in restoring a theater which was out of order for 100 years in his hometown. Then there is another association, which is made by us, which is staffed by our people and is taking care of running a conference hall, let's say, and a small library nearby Turin, south, going toward Genoa. And that is also a small nice reality which we want to grow, and we are confident in the next days, in the next months and next years will become something that could be useful in this project. Now, this is important, but I still have to tell you that we base our action on two pillars. First pillar is the principle of monarchy, not because we have a bias against republics. No, that is not what we look to. We think that monarchy instead has much more potential than republic, both for stability and both for prosperity for a country. Once again, I would like to stress that even though we were born with the Italian monarchy, the Savoy House in mind, nowadays we have shifted our view on a more localistic and more, how can I say, independent federation, because we find that the monarchies of Italy, so Habsburg Empire, Habsburg-Lorraine in Florence, and in the southern part of Italy, the Two Sicilies Kingdom, could be very well instruments and could be good starting points for to rediscover a truly conservative, a truly traditional point of view, all in their respective environments, of course. So this is the first pillar, and as for the second pillar, we are committed to affirm our Christian faith and our culture. Of course, for us, it's the Roman Catholic Church, but here I would say the Anglican Church, even though also those have been hit by modernism, both of the institutions, because I can't see much difference between a Pope Francis and a current Archbishop of Canterbury. And so also this we have to pay attention where we walk, where we put our feet, because there is danger that instead of finding a good priest or a good pastor, we find a far left activist instead. And in Italy especially, we can see this with the immigration, with the wild immigration policies, which have been pushed on not only by the government, but especially by the Catholic Church and the Caritas branch, which is the part of the church that takes care of charity, of course, with lots of revenues from the government, because they are subsidizing this effort. So pecunia non olet, but in this sense it's much more true. So these two pillars, royal houses, Christian faith and traditional culture, traditional worldview, because we must promote what is a total worldview, let's say, through art, through paintings, let's think, to writers, to local arts and local people that have made art and culture important and fundamental and great. Indeed, also values must be brought to the fore now that are quite hidden, such as kinship, family, duty, hierarchy, monarchy also. It's something which is imbued with hierarchy, and nowadays in contemporary democratic republic is something which is scoffed at absolutely. I may note en passant how the modern republics are all democratic republic, even though they are liberal, but they share the name with the former Eastern Bloc republics. But anyhow, this is how it is. And then liberty, justice, honesty, and courage. All those values are totally lost nowadays, also especially in my generation and the people that are younger than me also, because I'm 1986, I was born in 1986, and I shudder at what I see when I see people of 93, 94, so it's really something which we must walk on. And also, this must be brought in a comparative and international perspective. This is why I'm here today, because we are firmly convinced that the whole of Europe must rediscover these values, must rediscover these pillars, because we are, let's face it, small movements. We are few in number, but through the strengthening of connections with similar-minded associations here in Britain, in France, in Germany, we must create a network of similar-minded people that, by working together, can do more than what the single association can do. to create a support network, sort of vanguard, what you're in the premise of traditional meeting group is called a national vanguard. This is what we want to do. This is what we aim to do both at home and abroad. In this sense, it's important that our people stand firm in front of our modern world, what I call the modern world, which is not just cultural Marxism, which is rampant nowadays, but also the false liberalism and false conservatism, which is also quite threatening and quite powerful today. I so conclude my short speech with 3 words that I have learned to love, and that are, I would say, the motto of our association and of a truly traditional and conservative mindset: monarchy, tradition, and faith. By these 3 words, we may be able, in the future, in the next generation, to perhaps, I'm confident of it, to change the tide by staying united and strong. Thank you.